Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Last week I did a video predicting the 2018 Senate midterm elections in my perspective, and today we're gonna see what polls are saying. So polls may not be that accurate, they weren't accurate in 2016. Polls said that Hillary Clinton would win the presidency and in reality Donald Trump won the presidency. And yes, that probably illustrates that polls may not be that accurate, but it's better than nothing. But anyway, we're, we're let's get started. So first of all, we're gonna fill states that are safe Democrat. Um, we don't actually need polls data for these states. They, they aren't gonna flip to the other side of the aisle. Yeah, and Minnesota's special election, I'm gonna rate this one as a safe Democrat. Also, Virginia and New Mexico too, because these two states are pretty obvious. Uh, they are leaning toward the Democratic Party, but oh yeah, I forgot the state of Hawaii. So the Democratic Party now has 39 seats, and now we're gonna fill states that are safe for the Republican Party. Um, so Nebraska, this one is safe. Wyoming, this one is safe. Utah, yeah, Utah, this one. Mitt Romney is the Republican Party's nominee, and he's very popular in Utah. In 2012, when he was the GOP presidential nominee, he won by more than 70% of the votes in the state, and his favorability in the state is high, and he's doing very well in the polls here. So, and Utah is a typical red state. It's a deep red state. There's no way Mitt Romney is going to lose here. So this puts the Republican Party at 45 seats. And yes, I forgot the state of Mississippi. These two seats are going to the Republican Party as well. So the Democratic Party now has 39 seats, and the Republican Party has 47 seats. So we're gonna look at the Rust Belt, um, excluding the state of Indiana as of now. So we're gonna look at the states of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and Wisconsin. So Pennsylvania, these four states are going to the Democratic Party because in any cases, it's very unlikely that the Republican Party would win any of these races. And the Democratic Party is doing pretty well in the polls in these states. They have popular incumbents. Those incumbents are leading their Republican opponents, and by more than by like 2 digits margin. So there's no way the Republican Party is going to capture these states, and these Democrats have the incumbency advantage, and these states are not the interesting part of these midterms. There are a lot of states that we should look to. They're hotly competitive and maybe just unprecedentedly competitive, like state of Texas. But yeah, we're not going to talk about that right now. So let's look at the state of West Virginia. West Virginia is going to the Democratic Party. Polls say that Joe Manchin is leading his opponent Patrick Morrisey by around 8%, if I recall correctly. Let me check. So here we go. West Virginia. Yeah, he's leading by 8% in recent polls. So in Metro News polls. So yeah, the state is going to the Democratic Party as probably a safe Democratic state. And now we're gonna look at the state of Montana. Montana is going to the Democratic Party as well. The incumbent Senator John Tester is doing pretty well in poll. Let's see how he's doing. Um, he's leading his, and he's a popular incumbent. He's and yes, he's leading his opponent by around 3% in the latest poll, and he has the incumbency advantage. I wouldn't consider this as a Republican leaning. So yeah, this one is a likely Democratic seat here. Now we're gonna look at the neighboring state, the state of North Dakota. North Dakota, this one is going to the Republican Party. Kevin Kramer, the Republican nominee, is leading his opponent, the incumbent Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp, by around 3 points, if I recall it correctly. Yeah, but yeah, he's leading in the latest poll. Oh, 4 points. Yeah, in Fox News poll conducted this month. So it's pretty evident that the Republican Party would capture this seat. Yes, North Dakota is a state that Donald Trump won in 2016 and is a typical red state, and Heidi Heitkamp is not a popular incumbent. She's not a popular Democrat in the state. She would be replaced easily. Now we're going to look at the state of Nevada. Nevada, this one is going to the Democratic Party. Polls say that Jackie Rosen, the Democratic candidate, is winning by around 1 percentage point against the incumbent Republican Senator Dean Heller, because Dean Heller is not that popular, and Nevada is a state that disappointedly voted for the Democratic Party in 2016 for Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump was expected to win the state of Nevada in 2016, but he did not. But yeah, he won the Rust Belt instead. So here it is. So a poll conducted this month says that Jackie Rosen is leading Heller by 1%, and Real Clear Politics gives an average of 1.3% margin to Jackie Rosen. So yeah, this one is flipping to the Democratic Party, and this year is a blue wave year. It's highly unlikely that an unpopular senator in a state that voted for another party would retain his seat here. And now we're looking at the state of Arizona. Arizona, before the primaries were held, the Democratic Party is leading the Republican Party by substantial margin, but when the primaries have been held, the margin dropped significantly, and the Republican Party even went on to lead for a certain amount of time. But I believe today the Democratic Party, in the latest poll, the Democratic Party just leads. Yeah, so in Fox News poll conducted between September 8th and September 11th, Kirsten Sinema, the Democratic Party nominee, is leading her opponent, Martha McSally, the Republican nominee, by 3%. But you can see that in previous polls, McSally led Sinema by 3 percentage points and 1 percentage point. And, this is just a deviation from previous polling data that said that Sinema would win this seat by substantial margin, but yeah, she would win regardless, according to today's data. Now, the state of Texas. Texas is a red state, but this is unprecedented because Beto O'Rourke, the Democratic challenger to Ted Cruz, is polling pretty well. He's polling at 38%. Ted Cruz is polling at 39% in a recent poll. It's just 1% margin, and this is unprecedented. Texas is a red state, and it's a deep red state that reliably sends Republicans to Washington, but it's highly likely that Ted Cruz would lose his seat, but he's leading in the polls. He's leading in the poll today, so I'm gonna give the seat to Ted Cruz. But yeah, it's very unlikely that Beto O'Rourke could unseat him, and yeah, that's why Cruz is one of the most vulnerable senators up for re-election this year. But anyway, we're going to the state of Missouri. Missouri, the latest poll shows that it's an apparent tie in the Senate race. But you know, if I make my own call, I think Claire McCaskill would win because there's this theory that when you don't like both the incumbent and the challenger, you would vote for the incumbent. It's a principle that guided the 2012 presidential election, and yes, the 2016 might not, but anyway, the Missouri Senate race. I'm not gonna fill the state of Missouri, but I think if I make my own call, the Democratic Party would win. Claire McCaskill, although highly unpopular, would be able to win because of her incumbency advantage. But today we're not gonna do an opinion prediction. We're doing a prediction merely according to poll. So anyway, we're going to the state of Tennessee. Tennessee is a um, competitive state this year, be- probably because of the retirement of incumbent Republican Bob Corker, who was critical of President Trump. But anyway, so in the latest poll conducted by Fox News, Marsha Blackburn, the Republican Party's nominee, is leading her opponent, Phil Bredesen, the Democratic nominee and the former governor of Tennessee, by 3 points. But you can see that the Real Clear Politics gives Bredesen a 0.3% margin on average in the polls. But you know these the average when Real Clear Politics does an average margin, it includes polls from way back um, to July. So you know it. But today we're gonna look at the latest poll, and it's conducted this month. So we're gonna look at only that poll, and it gives Marsha Blackburn a 3-point lead. And now the Republican Party is at 50 seats, and the Democratic Party is still at 47 seats. So the Republican Party now has the majority because we're counting the vice president who can break ties in the Senate, but it's not adequate for the Republican Party because some votes, some because some votings require 60 votes or 2/3 majority. Like yeah, but it's a slim majority, but nevertheless a majority. And now we're gonna look at the state of Florida. Florida is the Republican Party is doing well in Florida because because Rick Scott is the Republican governor, but a brand new poll of Rasmussen shows that Nelson's leading by 1%. So this is unprecedented, but yeah, I would give Nelson the state. But in my own opinion, I think the state would go to the Republican Party since Rick Scott is a popular governor. He's way more popular than Bill Nelson, and he's a smart campaigner. He knows how to campaign. He knows how to spend his money to win an election, and that's why he won the gubernatorial races and got to this rank. But anyway, the latest poll shows that Nelson's winning, so I'm going to give the state of Florida to the Democratic Party. And now the last state, Indiana, I think this one would go to the Republican Party since the latest poll from Fox News show that Mike Braun is leading by 2%. Yeah, this poll is from Fox News. And I think Indiana is a Republican state now. Vice President Mike Pence comes from this state, and he's going to play an important factor in defining the result of this race. And now Mike Braun is leading by 2%. I think it's possible that the Republican Party would win this seat, and this is the final Senate map of this of the prediction according to polls. And you can see that the Republican Party has 51 seats and the Democratic Party has 48 seats, and there's one seat that's left unfilled. And if I'm gonna fill it now, I'm gonna fill it for the Democratic Party because, as I said, it's an apparent tie in the poll, and Claire McCaskill is an incumbent. She has the incumbency advantage, so this puts the Democratic Party forward to 49 seats and the Republican Party at 51 seats. So the majority remain, the number remain unchanged, although the states, the senators, some senators go out and some Republican senators come in. But yeah, regardless, the number stays the same. So this is it. So I would like to thank you so very much for watching my video and for subscribing to my channel. And if you like this video, you may consider clicking like and clicking that subscribe button, and you may consider sharing this video to someone you think might be interested. And you can subscribe to my channel if you want some more political videos like this, and I'll see you all later.